The morning rain hammered against the grimy windows of Central Station as Marcus Reed checked his watch for the third time. He was already late for his second job, and the train was delayed. Again. His worn jacket did little to keep out the chill that seeped through the old building, and his stomach growled. A reminder that he'd skipped breakfast to save money for his daughter's medication. "Daddy, I'm cold," whispered Lily, his 6-year-old daughter, huddling closer to him on the hard wooden bench. Her small hand clutched his, and Marcus felt his heart clench. She should be home, warm and safe, but the babysitter had canceled last minute, and he couldn't afford to miss another day of work. "I know, sweetheart. Just a few more minutes, and we'll be on the train. Then you can sleep while Daddy works. Okay?" Lily nodded, her blonde curls bouncing. She was such a good kid, never complaining even though Marcus knew she deserved so much better than their current life. Ever since his wife Rebecca had died in a car accident 2 years ago, every day had been a battle to keep their heads above water. Marcus worked as a janitor at Memorial Hospital during the day and took cleaning shifts at an office building at night. Between both jobs, he barely made enough to cover rent, food, and Lily's asthma medication. There was nothing left over for extras. No new clothes, no toys, no trips to the movies that other kids enjoyed. But they had each other, and that had to be enough. The station was crowded despite the early hour. Commuters rushing to catch trains, homeless people seeking shelter from the rain, vendors selling coffee and newspapers. Marcus had learned to tune out the noise, to focus only on getting Lily safely to Mrs. Chen's apartment, where she'd spend the day while he worked his 12-hour shift. That's when he heard it. A cry of pain, quickly muffled. Marcus's head snapped up. Across the platform, partially hidden by a support column, he saw an elderly man in a wheelchair. The man had clearly fallen or been pushed. His wheelchair tipped on its side. His frail body sprawled on the dirty concrete. People walked past without stopping, eyes averted, too busy with their own lives to notice or care. Marcus felt Lily tug on his sleeve. "Daddy, that man needs help." She was right, but Marcus looked at his watch again. If he stopped to help, he'd miss this train. The next one wasn't for 45 minutes. He'd be late to work, and his boss had already warned him that one more tardy would mean termination. He thought about Lily's medication, about the rent due in 5 days, about the electricity bill he was already behind on. Then he looked at his daughter's face. Innocent, concerned, waiting to see what her father would do. And he remembered Rebecca's words, spoken so many times during their marriage. "We might not have much, Marcus, but we always have our humanity. Don't ever lose that." Marcus stood up, taking Lily's hand. "Come on, sweetheart. Someone needs our help." They hurried across the platform. Up close, Marcus could see the elderly man was well-dressed despite his predicament. Expensive suit, now dirty and torn. Leather shoes that probably cost more than Marcus made in a month. The man was conscious but clearly disoriented. A nasty bruise forming on his temple. "Sir? Sir? Can you hear me?" Marcus knelt beside him, careful not to move him too suddenly in case something was broken. The old man's eyes focused on him with difficulty. My wheelchair. Don't worry about that right now. Are you hurt? Can you move your arms and legs?" I can't move my legs. I haven't been able to for 5 years." The man's voice was strained. "Spinal injury. The wheelchair. I need to get back in it." Marcus looked around desperately for help, but the crowd continued to flow around them like water around rocks. No one stopped. No one cared. "Lily, honey, stand back a bit. Okay?" Marcus positioned himself carefully. The old man was thin but still dead weight. Marcus slid his arms under the man's shoulders and knees, lifting with his legs the way he'd learned from years of physical labor. His back screamed in protest. He'd thrown it out last month and it hadn't fully healed, but he ignored the pain. Gently, carefully, he lowered the man back into the righted wheelchair, making sure he was secure before stepping back. "Thank you," the old man breathed, clearly in pain but trying to maintain dignity. "Thank you so much." Everyone else just walked past. "Are you okay, mister?" Lily asked, her small voice filled with concern. The man looked at her and smiled despite his discomfort. "I am now, little angel. What's your name?" "Lily. And this is my daddy, Marcus. He's the strongest daddy in the whole world." The old man's eyes shifted to Marcus, studying him with an intensity that was almost uncomfortable. "I'm William Hartford. And your father is indeed remarkable, Lily." Marcus felt his cheeks flush. "It was nothing, sir. Anyone would have." "But they didn't," William interrupted firmly. "I've been lying there for 10 minutes. Dozens of people walked past. You stopped. That's not nothing." Marcus heard the train announcement, his train now boarding. His stomach dropped. "I'm sorry, Mr. Hartford, but I really need to." "Go catch your train," William said. "But please give me your phone num." "Properly, thank you." Marcus hesitated. Something about this felt off. Rich old guy wanting his number? But then he looked at William's face. Genuine, grateful, nothing sinister, and relented. He scribbled his number on a piece of paper from his pocket. "Thank you again, Mr. Hartford." "Lily, say goodbye." "Bye, Mr. William. Feel better." They ran for the train, but the doors closed just as they reached it. Marcus watched it pull away, his heart sinking. He checked his phone. The next train would make him 45 minutes late to work. He called his supervisor. "Marcus, you've got to be kidding me." Mr. Peterson's voice was sharp. "This is the 3rd time this month." "I know, sir. I'm sorry. There was an emergency." "There's always an emergency with you, Reed. You know what? Don't bother coming in. You're done." "Mr. Peterson, please. I need this job." "My daughter. Should have thought about that before you decided to play hero. Clean out your locker tomorrow." The line went dead. Marcus stood there, phone in hand, feeling like the ground had disappeared beneath his feet. He'd just lost his main job. How was he going to pay rent? How was he going to afford Lily's medication? "Daddy." Lily's voice was small, worried. "Are you okay?" Marcus forced a smile, crouching down to her level. "Everything's fine, princess. How about we go get some hot chocolate? We've got time before my next job." It was money they couldn't afford to spend, but right now Marcus needed to see his daughter smile. That was worth more than the $3 in his pocket. 3 days passed. 3 days of job hunting, of stretching every dollar, of watching Lily's inhaler get emptier while Marcus desperately searched for work. His night job barely covered food. The rent was due in 2 days and he was $500 short. Marcus was filling out applications at a fast food restaurant, his 10th application that day, when his phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello. Is this Marcus Reed?" The voice was professional, female, unfamiliar. "Yes, this is Marcus." "Mr. Reed, my name is Patricia Chin. I'm calling on behalf of William Hartford. Mr. Hartford would like to meet with you tomorrow at 10 a.m., if you're available." Marcus frowned. "William Hartford? From the train station?" "Yes, sir. Would you be available to meet?" I guess so." "Where?" "Hartford Industries headquarters. I'll text you the address." "Thank you, Mr. Reed." She hung up before Marcus could ask any questions. Hartford Industries. Why did that name sound familiar? Marcus pulled out his phone and searched for it. His jaw dropped. Hartford Industries was one of the largest real estate and investment companies in the country, worth billions. And William Hartford wasn't just any old man. He was the William Hartford, self-made billionaire, philanthropist, one of the richest men in America. The man Marcus had helped at the train station was a billionaire. Marcus felt dizzy. What could William Hartford possibly want with him? The next morning, Marcus dropped Lily off at Mrs. Chen's apartment, then took 2 buses to reach downtown. Hartford Industries occupied an entire skyscraper, all gleaming glass and steel. Marcus felt completely out of place in his worn jeans and second-hand jacket as he entered the marble lobby. "I'm here to see Mr. Hartford," he told the receptionist, feeling foolish. "My name is Marcus Reed." The receptionist's professional smile widened. "Of course, Mr. Reed. You're expected. Miss Chun will escort you up." A woman in a sharp business suit appeared, the same voice from the phone call. "Mr. Reed, please follow me." They took an elevator to the top floor, the executive level. Marcus's hands were sweating. This was crazy. What was he doing here? Patricia led him to a massive office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. And there, behind a huge mahogany desk, sat William Hartford in his wheelchair, looking far more imposing than he had sprawled on the train station floor. "Marcus Reed," William said, his voice warm. "Thank you for coming. Please sit." Marcus sat in the plush leather chair across from him, feeling like he was in a dream. "Mr. Hartford, I don't understand why I'm here." William smiled. "Because you helped me when no one else would. Because you risked being late to work. And yes, I know you lost your job because of it to help a stranger. Do you know how rare that is, Marcus? I just did what anyone should do. But most people don't. I've learned that the hard way." William leaned forward. "Let me tell you something about myself. I wasn't always rich. I grew up in poverty, worked my way up from nothing, built this company with my bare hands. And when I had my accident 5 years ago, when I lost the use of my legs, I learned who my real friends were. Most of them disappeared. My children only call when they want money. My employees see me as a meal ticket. Your genuine kindness. It reminded me that good people still exist." Marcus didn't know what to say. "I want to help you, Marcus. I want to offer you a job." "A job?" Marcus's heart leaped. "Sir, I'll take anything. Janitor, maintenance, whatever you have. How about Vice President of Community Relations?" Marcus stared at him. "I'm sorry, what?" "I need someone who understands what it's like to struggle. Someone who can help me direct our charitable foundation toward people who really need it. Someone I can trust to be honest, not just tell me what I want to hear. I think that person is you. Mr. Hartford, I didn't even finish college. I clean toilets for a living. I can't. You have something more valuable than a degree, Marcus. You have character. You have empathy. And you have a daughter who watches and learns from every choice you make. Those are the qualifications I'm looking for." William named a salary that made Marcus's head spin. It was more than he currently made in a year. I don't know what to say." "Say yes. Let me give you the chance to provide for your daughter the way you clearly want to. Let me help the man who helped me." Marcus thought about Lily, about the rent he couldn't pay, about the medication he couldn't afford, about all the times he'd had to tell her maybe next time, when she asked for simple things other kids took for granted. "Yes," he whispered. "Yes, thank you. Thank you so much." William's smile was genuine. "Good. Patricia will handle all the paperwork." You'll start Monday. And Marcus? Bring Lily to the office sometime. I'd like to see her again. The first month at Hartford Industries felt surreal. Marcus had his own office, an actual office with a window and a door and his name on a plaque. He had a salary that allowed him to pay rent on time, buy Lily new clothes, stock the refrigerator full. But more than that, he had purpose. William Hartford had been serious about the community relations position. Marcus's job was to identify people and programs that needed help and direct resources their way. He worked with homeless shelters, after-school programs, medical clinics in poor neighborhoods. He used his own experiences to understand what people really needed, not what looked good in a press release. And slowly, carefully, a friendship developed between him and William. "You remind me of myself," William told him one evening as they reviewed grant applications. "Before I got successful and forgot what really mattered." "You didn't forget, sir. You were just surrounded by the wrong people." "Maybe." William was quiet for a moment. "My children, Richard and Vanessa, they're successful in their own right. But they see me as a bank account, not a father. I can't remember the last time either of them visited without asking for money or trying to convince me to retire so they can run the company." Marcus felt a pang of sympathy. "I'm sorry. Don't be. It's my own fault. I was so focused on building this empire that I forgot to build relationships with my own kids. But you work 2 jobs, struggle to make ends meet, and still your daughter looks at you like you hung the moon. That's real success, Marcus." The comment stuck with Marcus. He'd never thought of himself as successful. But Lily did love him, trust him, respect him. Maybe William was right. Maybe success wasn't about money. Maybe it was about being the kind of person your child could be proud of. 6 months into the job, things took an unexpected turn. William had a health scare, a minor stroke that left him hospitalized for a week. During that time, his children descended like vultures. Marcus was in William's hospital room when Richard and Vanessa arrived. They barely acknowledged their father before starting in on business. "Dad, this is a sign," Richard said, his voice all false concern. "You need to step down. Let Vanessa and me run the company. You've done enough." "I'm fine," William said weakly. "It was a small stroke. The doctors say you need to reduce stress," Vanessa interrupted. "And running a multi-billion-dollar company is stressful. Just sign the papers, Dad. Let us take care of everything." Marcus saw the hurt in William's eyes, the realization that his own children were more interested in his company than his health. "Maybe you should give your father time to recover before discussing business," Marcus said quietly. Richard's head snapped toward him. "I'm sorry, who are you?" "Marcus Reed. I work for your father." "Oh, right. The charity case Dad picked up." Richard's tone was dismissive. "This is family business. You can leave." "He stays," William said, his voice stronger now. "Marcus has been more family to me in 6 months than you've been in 6 years." The room went silent. Vanessa's face flushed with anger. "Dad, that's not fair. We care about you. We just think." "You think I'm a paycheck," William said flatly. "Both of you. When's the last time either of you visited without wanting something? When's the last time you asked about my day, my health, my life?" "That's ridiculous," Richard blustered. "We're your children. Of course we care." "Then prove it. Come visit me without an agenda. Bring your families. Let me meet my grandchildren properly instead of just seeing them in Christmas card photos. Show me that I'm more to you than a trust fund." Richard and Vanessa exchanged glances. then left without another word. After they were gone, William looked at Marcus. "Thank you for speaking up. I probably shouldn't have. They're your children. They needed to hear it." William sighed. "I've been a fool, Marcus. I built an empire but lost my family. Don't make my mistakes. Promise me. No matter how successful you become, always put Lily first." "I promise," Marcus said, and he meant it. A year after that day at the train station, William Hartford called Marcus into his office. "Sit down, Marcus. We need to talk." Marcus sat, concerned. William's tone was serious. "I'm retiring," William said simply. Marcus's stomach dropped. "What? Why? Is your health?" "My health is fine, but I'm 78 years old. It's time to step back, enjoy what life I have left." He smiled. "And I want to make some changes to my will." "Mr. Hartford, you don't need to tell me about. I'm leaving the company to you." The words didn't make sense. Marcus stared at him. "I'm sorry. Hartford Industries. I'm leaving it to you. Not all of it. Richard and Vanessa will get 30% between them, enough to keep them comfortable for life. But controlling interest, the ability to make decisions, the legacy of what I've built, that goes to you." "Mr. Hartford, I can't. You barely know me. Your children. My children have proven who they are. You've proven who you are. This company's mission is to help people, Marcus. You understand that in a way they never will. You'll use this power wisely. I trust you." Marcus felt tears burning his eyes. "I don't deserve this. You deserve it more than anyone. You helped me when you had everything to lose. You showed me that kindness still exists. Let me do this, Marcus. Let me leave my legacy in good hands. Your children will fight this. Let them. The will is ironclad. And Marcus, there's a personal trust for Lily. College fund, medical expenses, whatever she needs. She'll never have to struggle the way you did." Marcus couldn't speak. He just sat there, overwhelmed by the magnitude of what William was offering. "One condition," William added. "You bring Lily to visit me at least once a month. I may not have been a good father, but I'd like to try being a good grandfather. If you'll let me." Marcus wiped his eyes. "She'd love that. She talks about you all the time. Asks when we can see Mr. William again. Then it's settled." William extended his hand. "Thank you, Marcus, for everything. For helping an old man at a train station. For reminding me what really matters. For being the son I wish I'd deserved." Marcus took his hand, but then pulled William into a careful hug. "Thank you for seeing me as more than a janitor. For giving me a chance. For being there for Lily and me." The will reading was exactly as dramatic as Marcus had feared. Richard and Vanessa's faces went from smug satisfaction to shock to fury as the lawyer read the terms. They tried to contest it, hiring expensive attorneys, but William's will was bulletproof. He'd even included a letter explaining his decision, read aloud in court. "To Richard and Vanessa, I love you both, but I failed you as a father by teaching you that money was more important than character. I hope one day you'll understand that I'm not punishing you. I'm trying to save you." Marcus Reed embodies everything I wanted Hartford Industries to represent. He will continue my legacy better than I ever could. If you can accept this and work with him honestly, there's still a place for you in the company. The choice is yours. They chose poorly. Richard and Vanessa took their 30%, cashed out, and cut ties completely. Marcus heard later that Richard started his own investment firm. Vanessa moved to Europe. Neither tried to contact William or Marcus again. William lived for 3 more years after retiring. Good years, filled with visits from Marcus and Lily, Sunday dinners, holidays spent together. He became the grandfather Lily had never had, and Marcus became the son William had always wanted. When William passed away peacefully in his sleep at age 81, the funeral was huge: business leaders, politicians, celebrities. But the only people who genuinely mourned were Marcus, Lily, and a handful of old friends who remembered William before the money. Marcus gave the eulogy. "William Hartford changed my life the day I helped him at a train station. But not in the way you might think. Yes, he gave me a job, opportunities, financial security. But more importantly, he taught me that success without compassion is hollow. That money without humanity is meaningless. That the measure of a person isn't what they have, but what they do with it." He looked out at the crowd, his voice strong. William lived his last years better than he lived most of his life. He reconnected with what mattered. He chose love over legacy, relationships over riches. And in doing so, he showed me the kind of man I want to be, the kind of father I want to be. That's his real legacy. Not the buildings with his name on them, but the lives he touched when he finally learned to see people as people, not assets. After the funeral, as Marcus and Lily stood by William's grave, Lily slipped her hand into her father's. "Daddy, are we rich now?" Marcus thought about the company he now controlled, the billions of dollars in assets, the power and influence he'd inherited. "Yes, sweetheart. But do you know what the most important thing is?" "What?" "That we don't forget who we are. We don't forget what it was like to struggle, to need help, to be invisible. Because that's what Mr. William would want. He'd want us to use everything he gave us to help other people the way he helped us." "Like you helped him at the train station?" "Exactly like that." Lily nodded solemnly. "I can do that. I want to be kind like you and Mr. William." Marcus pulled her close. "Then his legacy is secure. Because kindness is worth more than all the money in the world." Marcus stood in the newly opened Hartford Community Center, watching as families streamed through the doors. The center offered free medical care, job training, child care, meals, everything he wished had existed when he was struggling. "Dad!" Lily's voice called out. She was 16 now, beautiful and brilliant, volunteering at the center every weekend. "The mayor's here for the ribbon cutting." Marcus smiled. Lily had grown up understanding both privilege and responsibility. She knew that their wealth came with an obligation to help others. She'd never forgotten where they came from. As he walked toward the ceremony, Marcus passed a wall dedicated to William Hartford. His photo hung there, along with his words. "True wealth isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in lives touched, hands extended, and moments of compassion that change everything." Below the photo was the story of how it all started. A man with nothing helping a man who had everything, both of them discovering that sometimes the greatest fortunes are found in the simplest acts of kindness. Marcus paused, touching the photo gently. "Thank you, old friend," he whispered, "for seeing me, for believing in me, for teaching me that one moment of courage can change the world." And as he stepped up to cut the ribbon on this new center that would help thousands of struggling families, Marcus Reed, former janitor, now billionaire CEO, but always and forever a father first, knew that the real treasure he'd gained that day at the train station wasn't money. It was the reminder that every person matters, that kindness is never wasted, that helping someone in their darkest moment might just save 2 lives, theirs and yours. The ribbon fell away, and the crowd cheered. Another chapter began, another chance to pay forward the gift William had given him. And somewhere, Marcus liked to think, an old man in a wheelchair was smiling down, proud of the legacy that lived on. Not in buildings or bank accounts, but in every life touched by an act of compassion that started with 30 seconds at a train station. Remember, the person you help today might change your life tomorrow. But more importantly, helping them changes who you are today. And that's the real fortune.